Okay, so today we're going deep on this group called the Kaifa Group.
Okay.
And just the name itself is kind of interesting, right?
Yeah.
Like Kaifa, it's a Chinese word,
Hmm.
and it means growth and development through like sharing ideas, the exchange of ideas.
Oh, wow.
So I thought that was pretty interesting.
That's cool.
And, they kind of emphasize that even more when you look at their website, right?
Mm.
They don't describe themselves as like a company.
Uh-huh.
They actually say they're an incubator of partnerships.
Oh, an incubator.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot more dynamic than just saying, like, we're a company or a firm.
Right. What does that even mean? An incubator for partnerships.
Yeah, so I think when they're talking about incubator, they're not thinking about, like, hatching eggs.
Okay.
It's more about, creating the right conditions for something to grow and thrive.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of like a greenhouse, but for partnerships.
Yeah.
So they're saying they're trying to nurture these relationships that they're building and help them grow and do something bigger.
So I guess the question is, what kind of partnerships are they building then?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because they're not just talking about any kind of growth.
Right.
They specifically mention this idea of holistic growth and development.
Right.
So it makes you think, like, what does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Beyond just profit.
What could holistic growth be?
Right. Like, are they trying to create some kind of, like, social impact?
Yeah.
Something that's more sustainable, maybe even, like, personal development for the people involved.
Right.
It's like looking at the big picture.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
And it seems like these partnerships they're talking about are global because they keep mentioning working with nationals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It seems like they're really emphasizing working with people from all over the world.
Right.
And especially in Asia.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes, their founder has over 35 years of experience working in Asia.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. And then they talk about their work as having like a two-pronged approach.
Oh, two-pronged approach.
Two prongs.
I wonder what those two prongs could be.
What could those two prongs be?
That's interesting.
Yeah, they don't say it right away, but they do give us some clues, I think.
Oh, okay.
So if you look at their website, it seems like one of the main things they do is education.
Okay, so education is one prong.
Yeah, they focus a lot on these education initiatives, like helping to empower local communities through training and skill development.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And so what would the second prong be then?
Well, if you keep looking at the site, it seems like the second prong is all about business partnerships.
Okay.
So they kind of act as this bridge, between investors and entrepreneurs or companies that are trying to enter new markets.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and they're using their expertise and their networks to try to make sure these partnerships are actually successful.
So it's like a two-sided thing. Like on one hand, they're trying to improve people's skills through education.
Right.
And then on the other hand, they're trying to build these economic connections through partnerships.
Exactly. And they're not just talking about it.
Yeah.
Remember how they mentioned their COVID-19 response?
Oh, right.
Well, that's a perfect example of how they're putting those two prongs into action.
Yeah, they talked about how they provided support PPE and meals in Asia during the pandemic.
Right, exactly. But they went even further.
They did.
Yeah, they actually helped to set up online learning platforms when schools were closed.
Oh, wow.
So that kids could keep learning even when everything was shut down.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, and they also worked with local businesses to help them adapt to that whole new economic landscape.
Oh, that's interesting.
So you can see how they're not just giving aid, but actually helping to build resilience for the long term.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's really impressive.
And one of the things that really stuck out to me was this quote from the founder, Myron Youngman. He said, "One thing reinforced repeatedly during my more than 35 years in Asia is the significance of meaningful relationships that defy a Western definition."
Oh, wow. That's a really powerful statement.
Right.
I mean, he's basically saying that, we have to rethink our assumptions about what it means to have a business relationship.
Totally, because like in the West, we're all about transactions.
Right.
Like get the deal done and move on.
Exactly. Just sign on the dotted line.
But it sounds like Kaifa is trying to build something much deeper than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like they want to build relationships that are based on trust and mutual understanding.
And a shared commitment to that long-term growth.
Right.
That's where the holistic part comes back in.
It all ties together.
Yeah, it's not just about the bottom line.
Yeah.
It's about creating value for everyone involved.
And their website actually ends with a call to action. It says, interested in participating.
Oh, wow.
So it seems like they really want other people to get involved with what they're doing.
Yeah, I noticed that too. And they even offer a bunch of different ways that people can participate.
Really?
Yeah, you can volunteer your skills, you can contribute financially, or you can even join their team abroad.
So they really seem to mean it when they talk about partnership.
They do. It's not just a buzzword for them.
No, it seems like it's really central to their whole philosophy.
It's like a way of life.
Yeah. So I guess we've learned that the Kaifa Group is more than just a company.
Yeah.
It's like a movement towards a different way of doing business. One that prioritizes partnerships and holistic growth and these really deep, meaningful relationships.
And it's actually happening on the ground.
Yeah.
Like they're making a real difference in people's lives.
So that leaves me with one big question.
Okay.
Can this approach actually work? Like, can this emphasis on long-term commitment and trust, can that really succeed in a world that's so focused on speed and efficiency?
That's a great question.
Something to think about.
Yeah, a lot to ponder.
Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the Kaifa Group.
Absolutely my pleasure.
And until next time, keep diving.
Keep diving.
Bye.